Hello everyone, this is Dr. E and today we're going to be working on how to teach or learn derivatives in calculus. So in lessons in calculus, finding or solving the derivative of a certain functions is probably one of the most complicated topics that we can teach in our calculus class. And at the same time, this is very important because this is basically our buy-in to our students on how they will be more engaged and invested on how to practice and connect their basic algebra fundamentals in learning and understanding the beauty of calculus. And yes, this is what we're going to be working on today. How are we going to teach our students? And for the students who are watching this video, how are we going to learn and appreciate derivatives and understand why we need to memorize those formulas to be able to find the derivative of certain functions? So the first thing that we need to do, so for teachers, this is how I always open up my lesson on derivatives. I always connect it to my previous algebra lessons so that my students will be able to understand the connection of the basic algebra concept all the way to the calculus lesson. So connecting the prior knowledge will help our students understand why they need to learn and why they need to sometimes memorize certain formulas in calculus. So the first thing that I always do is to review the equation of a line, on how to write the equation of a line given three cases. So the first case is the easiest case because we are given the slope and the y-intercept, and by plugging it into our formula, which is the slope-intercept form, or y equals mx plus b, we'll be able to produce our equation of a line. And then we're going to move on to the other case, which is case number 2, which is slightly different from case 1 because this time you are given a slope and then a point. And with this case, we're going to be using a new formula, which is the point-slope form, so we can introduce this formula on writing the equation of a line, and by plugging in the point and the slope, we'll be able to process using basic algebra properties and convert the point-slope form into the slope-intercept form, y is equal mx plus b, and then we have our equation of a line. And then the third case, which is writing the equation of a line given only the 2 points in our problem, will be a little bit more challenging because, well, not challenging for calculus students, but challenging because there are more work involved. And the work is to find the slope using the formula of the change of y all over the change of x, and after finding the slope, we plug it into the point slope form and then convert it to the slope intercept form so that we'll have the y equals mx plus b that we're looking for in writing the equation of line. So these three cases is how we can connect algebra to calculus so that we can challenge our students on how to write the equation of a line given a single point. So yes, just a single point, and that is what you're going to be sharing with your students because now you can introduce critical thinking and do a little bit of discussion on how you will approach and how you will find a solution to this particular problem. Writing an equation of a line by only given a single point. So how are we going to do this? We're going to work on the definition of the derivatives. So in this particular case, we can teach or we can show our students that when we have less clues in our math problems, the process on how we solve a math problems can be a little bit more tedious because the less clues you have, the more work you need to do. And that is why we can introduce the definition of derivative because in this particular lesson, we can now introduce the derivatives, why we're using this crazy formula in finding the slope of an equation given a point and given its f of x or the actual function. So this is where we can connect algebra to calculus, and it's going to be a little bit less confusing. Well, not confusing, but you'll be able to make your students more engaged. That even though they're using a very long formula, there is a reason why we're doing this, and that is because we want to find the slope so that when we have a slope and we have a point, we'll be able to write the equation of a line. So this is how I always connect my lesson of algebra to students who are taking derivatives for the first time, or to students who don't understand why we're using the formula in calculus in finding the derivative of a function. So this is the lesson that I always do, maybe the second or the third day of my lesson on the derivatives. And after that, I introduce word problems. And in these word problems, we're writing the tangent line of a given function given a point. So in this particular topic, we'll be able to introduce to our students that calculus can be a little bit intimidating because there are a lot of word problems that you need to learn how to solve in working with derivatives or calculus problems. So tangent lines would be your perfect introduction so that your students will be a little bit less scared in tackling more complicated calculus lessons that they will encounter in the next few days or so. So after finding the tangent lines, after your lessons on introducing or introduction of the derivatives, now you can start working on introducing why you need to memorize some of the formulas for the derivative rules like the power rule, the quotient rule, the chain rule. So this is a perfect segue so that the students will understand that these are just shortcuts so that we'll be able to find the slope of a function given a single point. So recap of what I just shared to you. There are three things that you can start your lesson on derivatives with: the algebra lessons on writing the equation of a line, and then the definition of the derivatives, and the tangent line or writing the equation of the tangent line. So this is how I usually introduce my lessons on derivatives so that my students, especially students who are taking calculus for the first time, that calculus is just basically application of their mastery of their algebra knowledge. So if you happen to like this video, please like, share, and subscribe to my channel. And also, if you have your own lesson idea, comment down below how you introduce and how you share or how you teach your topic on the derivative or the derivative of a function in calculus so that we'll be able to feature it next time in our channel. This is Dr. E, and see you again next time. Bye!